Ladies and gentlemen, Johor Bahru is in economic trouble. And unfortunately, we Singaporeans are partly the cause of it. And this is a problem that we already know, but it's gotten really out of hand. And today we'll also talk about some of the retail business problem that Singapore is facing. And surprisingly, Singapore retail business is doing very well right now. And let me give you the story behind the scene, and hopefully this could continue so that Singapore retail business will not collapse. So let's watch on, shall we? So a news article came out, and basically Johor Chief Minister actually came out and make a statement and said that Johor's food and rental prices are rising due to thousands of Singaporeans grocery shopping at JB. And right now, the situation is potentially getting out of hand because even in KL, which is, to my opinion, overrun by many Chinese, the price inflation there is not as bad as in JB. Now we kind of know that that will happen, but to reach this kind of level is probably something quite serious. And let me give you how serious the problem is. So the chief minister, Datuk Ons Hafiz Ghazi, actually came out and made this statement. He said that tackling inflation will be a key focus for the state after noting the increase in cost of living. And for Singaporeans, it's not too big a deal. I've spoken to many Singaporeans. When they go Johor Bahru and spend money, many a times they don't even look at the price, right? And that's because of our powerful Singapore dollar. And it is also true that when we buy certain things, it could be the case where our price gap is not that big a difference, but the fact that we are already there, we just kind of buy everything together, and this kind of behavior actually drive up demand. And the food and rental prices are going up as the chief minister said, adding that thousands of Singaporeans cross the border into Malaysia, especially over the weekend to do their grocery shopping. I think he is wrong for sure. It's not thousands of Singaporeans, right? It is tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Singaporeans crossing the border into Malaysia, especially over a weekend to do their grocery shopping. A phenomenal amount of people going in, and of course, this will mega lift up the inflation situation. Now, I'm sympathetic to the Johor Bahru residents, but this is something that and this is something I don't think it's can be avoided, right? Now, it is also wrong if you to think that, okay, let's stop the Singaporeans from coming in, okay? Then the economy will collapse, right? You cannot have the cake and eat it. You want an uplift in economy, then you must have associated uplift in cost of living. That's what Singapore is feeling right now, right? We have a mega rise in the standard of living, that we are one of the most highest standard of living country in the world right now. Our cost of living also become one of the highest in the world. So if you want an economic rise, there is no such thing as not having a cost of living increase. So he specifically said that a plate of nasi lemak with fried chicken, okay, here is about 9 ringgit, which is $2.70 Singapore dollar, which the same dish in Kuala Lumpur will cost only 7 ringgit, which is $2.11. To an average Singaporean, you probably don't even think 60 cents. What is 60 cents, right? Okay. But I think to a Malaysian where the income level is a lot lesser, I think it does make a lot of difference. Okay. And the average Singaporeans, when they go there, they won't buy $9 nasi lemak. They will buy a $9 nasi lemak with a lot of different ingredients that comes with it and things like that, and then spend $50, 50 ringgit or something like that, right? Where no way they will go to a 9 ringgit and just eat like that, right? This clearly shows Johor is getting more expensive, without a doubt. Without a doubt, okay, without a doubt. So now this is probably more interesting. Okay, of course, is a figure of authority, right? At the same time, property prices in Johor are either rising or already higher than some in Singapore. Okay, so it's a fact that Johor prices for property is rising astronomically. Okay, I've seen it with my own eyes. Astronomically. You look at the condo prices, you look at landed property prices, like, rising ridiculously. So the phenomena we have experienced in Singapore right now is carrying over to Johor Bahru. Now, I'm not telling people to buy Johor property, in order to make money, right? But for those who already purchase property in Johor Bahru, like my time or before, you're sitting on some big fat profits, okay? But when we sell it, by the time we sell it, maybe there will be some depreciation of the ringgit. Maybe there will be some capital gains tax that will erode some of it. I don't believe in buying Johor Bahru property for capital gains. But the fact is, we are all sitting on big fat capital gains right now on paper. Okay, but I intend to hold my property for a long period of time till kingdom comes and things like that. But let's going back to property prices in Johor. It is not the Singaporeans only they are driving up property prices. The Malaysians are driving up property prices as well. Don't see the Malaysians in Johor no up. They have the power to wipe out a lot of condos. I give you this example. A developer told the chief minister that his housing project of 300 units was completely sold out. Okay, showing that that property was selling like hotcakes. Let me say it, okay? I was at the showroom. They say they launch it within 1 hour. The entire launch were all sold out. Why? And a lot of people say Singaporeans buy it. Then you're wrong. Many of these units were not allowed to be bought by Singaporeans. There was some Malaysians are buying it. Okay, so there is a crazy frenzy right now driving property prices up. Okay, and I think this is something that is driving inflation up as well. And fortunately, the chief minister realized that we need to develop more affordable housing so that locals can still have a chance to own a home. Now, this is where I need to say it. Malaysia, unlike Singapore, have a lot of land. A lot of land. Now, they may not be in prime location, like the CIQ area. The area is super congested. It's very difficult to build more houses there. But if you go just within a half an hour drive, you have lots of land in Malaysia. Towards the east side, towards Pasir Gudang, Perling area, lots of land there. Skudai, lots of land. Senai there, lots of land. Towards the right side, which I cannot remember. There, I only remember place by restaurant. Okay, there's facing Sembawang area and things like that. Lots of land over there. So Permas Jaya, yes, I'm trying to remember. Towards Permas Jaya, there lots of land. You go further down, closer to Desa Semerang and all these places. Lots of land over there. So if the locals are willing to sacrifice a bit of distance, I think it's possible to solve this problem for the locals. So property, it's a matter of leaving the choice area for investors and speculators, and for people who can afford it, and the outskirts leave it for the locals to enjoy. Right? Same as Singapore, right? River Valley, we can't afford it, or most of us can't afford it. Some of y'all can. But in Jurong, in Woodlands, in Tengah, in Pasir Ris, or whatsoever, lots of affordable houses are available, right? So on the same concept, I think Johor Bahru can solve this problem. But the fact is, right, that the heart of Johor Bahru city right now is runaway inflation in terms of property. On Hafiz, the chief minister said that his administration is working on a mechanism to tackle inflation without stopping growth. The key is this: he's focusing on solving inflation without stopping growth. They want the Singaporeans to come in, they want the Chinese to come in, they want tourism to come in, and tourism is coming in a big way in Malaysia. Okay, but they do not want the inflation problem. So there's a healthy balance they're trying to do. So the first priority that he's trying to do is to ensure affordable housing for Johorians only. Now Malaysians have this rule that they allow Bumi Putras, which is the son of the soil, to own property. I think this probably be extended also to other races as well, right? So my guess is that they'll probably have a certain quota of property must be catered for Johorians. So micromanaging every step in the process is key, not just for economic reasons, but ensure the policy we implement truly meets the people's needs. He's a very good chief minister. Now I've seen videos of him going down to the checkpoint, clearing jams and making sure things are happening in a big way. He go down to hospital, ensuring that the standards are high. He's going out everywhere, and things like that. I see that he's a pretty good chief minister. I never met him before, but I think he's a very good chief minister. But I need to say this that okay, he is wise to say that we cannot stop the growth, but we must manage inflation. So fortunately for that, I think there's still room for us Singaporeans to go in and enjoy ourselves and buy the things up and things like that. So I think he stated very clearly, right? Johor is not in competition with Singapore. Okay, so Johor proximity with Singapore is just 700 meters, often led to comparison between the two. We should not compare. Okay, a lot of Singaporeans like to compare. Are you Johor like that, Singapore like that, that kind of thing, right? No, right? This should be seen as a opportunity for both, right? To the people who are in business, Johor could be a Singapore plus one strategy, right? Your business extended to Singapore, or for those people who want to expand their business presence into Malaysia to catch a new market whatsoever, and for Johorians to extend, their labor force into Singapore. In the past, was very difficult and very painful for them to come to Singapore. With the RTS, it's a lot more easier right now. Take note, everything is happening right now is before the RTS is even up. What will happen when the RTS is up, right? Now, a lot of people also say that, Mr. Lu, once the RTS is up, the price gap will be diminished. Well, it depends. Like property now, where the chief minister said some property in Malaysia is even more expensive than Singapore. I was thinking is how can that be possible? Later I think, yes, it's possible. Why? Because I think if you compare, it's not a fair comparison. If you compare a lot of the condos they are launching right now in the near the CIQ, hey, per square feet is really very expensive. I've seen units that are now going for 1,400, 1,500 ringgit. That's 500 Singapore dollars. But some of our HDBs are not that kind of level. Okay, so maybe he's comparing that level. I'm just saying maybe, right? So it is true. Cost of living in JB is gonna level up, but I don't think you will ever reach a case where it become on par. Okay, so there's always an alternative. Go more inland. Okay, go more inland. If you take a bit of time now, in the case myself, I actually stay near Tebrau City area. Tebrau City is not so congested like a CIQ area. And then you can always have the wonderful opportunity to go, city hopping and wonderful shopping in just further down, even to Malacca and KL, right? It's really fun. I just been to Malacca. Oh, wow. The food is amazing, right? The shopping is also amazing. So a lot of opportunities happen there. Cost of living is not so out of whack as you go further away from the heart of the Johor city. So, pivoting to another topic, okay, that's related, okay. I have earlier said that the Singapore retail will be dead when the RTS is up. Okay, and I say it from by looking at what I see between Hong Kong and Shenzhen. Okay, and I say that wow, the kind of thing that happen in Singapore, we are dead, right? Now, I spend a lot of time speaking to some retailers in Singapore, and I realized that hey, this last month or this month, the business is actually very good. And I asked them why is it so, right? They actually told me something that is very unique to Singapore. Let me ask you a question, okay? And the retail business is really doing well this month. Okay, why do you think so? Why do you think so? Right? Well, the truth is again an act of the government. I always say Singapore is just an incredible machinery of the government moving around, saving and managing the economy. So what did they do to help the retail? CDC vouchers, SG60 vouchers. Okay. So this month, okay, seniors in Singapore will receive $800 SG60 vouchers. and 21 years old and above will receive $600 SG vouchers. And these vouchers are lifting up the retail business like crazy. And I think this month, money is already going out. I don't know the disbursement this kind of schedule, but really, people are really spending, and the SG60 vouchers will expire end of next year. So I think there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money that's going out in the economy, and once people receive the money, they rush to spend on everything: handphones, groceries, wonderful stuff, things like that. And this is just like money fall from, I don't like to say from heaven, but it's money fall from the government. And and this amount of money is not trivial. When you multiply this by the number of Singaporeans, there's a hell of money that's only going to Singapore retail. Now, I've actually asked, because I run online business, can the CDC vouchers be used for online purchase or e-commerce transaction? No. They can only be used for shops, merchants, hawkers, supermarket, in-store, physical store. And of course, part of the purpose is meant to support local business and alleviate cost of living concerns. So there are two purposes they are trying to achieve, right? I'll be frank with you. I can't even recall whether I've actually used a CDC voucher before, and apparently you guys know it better than me. Okay, it's a QR code and things like that. You scan it and that's it. And it's not meant for purchase on Shopee, on Lazada, Amazon, whatsoever. Okay, and it's clearly to help some of the local retail business as well. So I think this is a very important thing. So this thing will lift up the economy, and hopefully more and more of these vouchers come up, they'll continue to lift our economy. The day when the government stop issuing these kind of vouchers, I don't know what happened to our businesses, okay, local businesses. So right now, I think that as long as the government continue to do well, continue to issue CDC vouchers and things like that, I think our Singapore retail business will have a fighting chance of surviving. So I think that the situation in JB is a unique problem that will not go away and will probably even get worse. I would say that the Singaporeans will continue to go there. In fact, for those people who want to buy anything, better go buy now before prices go up even more. But on the other hand, I think the Johoreans who are facing the cost of living issue, I would suggest two things. Number one, work in Singapore, right? Get a work permit and find a chance to work in Singapore. You earn a higher Singapore dollar, or put yourself into positions where you can take advantage of the onslaught of amount of Singapore tourists that are coming in, or Singapore business that are coming in. As for Singapore retail local business, as long as the CDC vouchers are there, I think, there's a good chance that most of them will do well. We just don't know when the CDC vouchers will run out. Okay. So tonight, I'll see you in a live stream, and hopefully we will have some stock market wonderful surprises there. I'll see you tonight. Thank you and bye bye.